Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Caroline, and on this channel we talk about all things spirituality, mindfulness, wellness, creativity, law of attraction, manifestation, and just aligning to our highest selves. I would love for you to join me on this journey. Subscribe down below and like this video. Let me know what you want to see next, and let's get into it. So today I'm going to be talking about 4 books that changed the trajectory of my life. I don't know where I would be if I did not read these books, and especially at the time that I read them. Personally, I feel like these 4 books came into my life at a time when I really needed them, and they all changed me in different ways. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how these books changed my life and exactly what they're about, so you can get a feel for them and decide if you might want to purchase them. I will have all of the books linked down below. I think that anyone would benefit from these books. So the first book that I want to start with is The Untethered Soul. This is my #1 recommendation for anyone. This book here is what changed my life. It's really what propelled my spiritual journey, and I read it at a really sensitive time in my life. You see, it's really beat up, but that's because I bought a secondhand version of it, I think, and I brought it with me everywhere. I read it summer of 2017. I read it in such a sensitive time in my life. I was trying to get out of a really unhealthy relationship. I was trying to detach from things in my life. I was trying to feel less pain and feel less hurt. And this book brought me out of so much and really connected me to my power. Like, I really read it during one of the hardest parts and biggest awakenings of my life, which is why I feel like I hold it so close to my heart, and it's my first recommendation when someone is just getting into finding themselves or finding their spiritual journey. This book seriously changed the game for me. At the time, I had gone into a rabbit hole after watching the movie The Secret, which is really what kickstarted my healing journey mentally. I was looking for anything and everything to give me some hope. I was looking for anything to keep me in the whole law of attraction vibes and keep me in that mental state, and just anything that would teach me how to detach. It really did teach me how to detach from things that were unhealthy that I was putting my focus too heavily into. It taught me how to keep my heart safe and protect my heart while also keeping it open. It taught me how to surrender, how to release, and just let go of control, which is something that I truly needed at the time. It literally just brought such profound peace to me and profound comfort, and I seriously cannot recommend this book enough. It is so freaking good. It also made me connect the fact that law of attraction works best when you're surrendering instead of focusing on controlling. You have to just surrender control. And that was one of the biggest realizations that this book gave me. The whole experience that I had reading it was so profound, and I just feel like it activated an inner knowing. It made me start living it. It made me start living this way. 10 out of 10, The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. 10 out of 10. Read it. Someone's dog is barking. Woof. The second book that I want to tell you about is one that I read last summer, so it's more of a recent read for me, but it really just connected so many things and it made so much sense upon reading it. Like, don't you just love that feeling when you open a book, like a self-help or self-development book, and it says something that, like, you might have known deep down, but it just solidifies it for you, and it just makes so much sense. This book, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. I hope I pronounced his name right. This book is so good. This book is so good. It really helped me start to understand parts of my shadow self that I didn't really come to terms with yet. So, like, it came to me at a time in my life, like last summer was when I was really starting to focus on relaxing more and starting to take a step back from just feeling like I'm in fight or flight and just constantly stressed. It was really a pivotal time in my life because I was just starting to acknowledge that I didn't have to be stressed all the time. I didn't have to be anxious all the time. So I was starting to relax more, and that's why this book seriously changed the game for me. It just put things into words and into perspective that I hadn't even thought about yet, especially the whole pain body term. And he talks about how things in our life feed our pain body, the emotional pain body, the pain that we carry from things that we've gone through in life. And little things unconsciously can really feed that pain body and feed that part of our ego if we're not aware of it and if we don't try and make a change. Or as long as we become aware of our pain body, we can start changing and healing and feeling better more often. So that was super profound for me to realize. And in that book, it just dives so deep into that. It dives so deep into like interpersonal relationships with people, like parental figures, just people who are acquaintances in your life. And it helps just acknowledge like the role our ego plays in our own suffering and the role that we play in our own suffering. Just how people carry so much baggage, and we can acknowledge that in others and acknowledge it in ourselves. I really think that this book could help a lot of people get behind and figure out the reason why they've been suffering so heavily and any way that they might be playing into it. So this one's definitely, I don't know if I can give it a rating. I know I said Untethered Soul was a 10 out of 10. I think this book would be like a 9 out of 10. No, it's definitely 10 out of 10. It made it to my 4 books that changed the trajectory. It made it to the 4 books that changed the trajectory of my life, so I'll have to give it a 10 out of 10. I have to give all these books a 10 out of 10 just because the sole reason that they came into my life when they did. The next book. Now this one is a little more businessy, but I was really feeling called to read it because I was at a point in my life where I was just opening myself up to all of these options of ways to make money and not just the traditional path of working a 9-to-5 job and 40-hour work week. So this book is called The 4-Hour Work Week. I actually did not read the physical copy of it. I listened to it on Audible, which I really enjoyed because I could listen to it in the car. I listened to it like in the shower. I just listened to it whenever I had a drive, and it just imprinted all of this stuff into my subconscious. I'm so grateful that I read it, and it is so good. It really just made me think out of the box about the ways that we live and how we live and we work pretty much to retire when we're 70, but like why aren't we enjoying our lives now? Suddenly like when we're 70 we're gonna have all these fun things to do, like hello. So that was one of like the biggest takeaways from this book, and it was honestly not something that I would normally gravitate to, but because of the current state of my life I was like, I'm open to anything. And I'd also heard so many people rave about this book, people who I looked at as successful, people who I saw what they were doing, and I was like, I want to be doing that. So when they talked about this book, I was like, all right, I need to read this book. I need to learn from what my mentors were learning from. It's such a wealth of information, and it's important to remember this book was written over a decade ago. So some of the stuff it refers to, like you'll look at it and be like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Like he's talking about like the start of Amazon, and he's talking about like the start of certain things online. But little did he know how things would be nowadays. But it really just went to show me when you start getting involved with something in the early stages, it could be something huge, especially when it comes to technology. And technology has advanced so much, and ways to make money have expanded so much with the internet that it inspired me. It inspired me so much, and it genuinely changed the way that I think about how I want to live my life and how I want to make my money and how I want to make my living and how I want to retire, just everything. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I definitely recommend this book. It is so, so, so good. And generally, it just talks about how when you start your own business or something like that and you start creating passive income, you can build something to the point where it works for you and you only have to put in 4 hours into your week. So it's such a goal. It's such a goal, and that's a lot of big business owners have achieved that. So it's obviously achievable. It's obviously doable. You can do anything you commit your mind to, but that's like the biggest takeaway is like, why are we spending 40 hours working for someone else when we could be spending 4 hours eventually working for ourselves and have the rest of the business working for us while we're not even working? And we can just do more of the things we enjoy. Isn't that all we want in life, is to just do the things we love and do the things we enjoy? Like, isn't that the point of life? So A, biggest takeaway is, why are we working fucking 40 hours? B, why are we retiring at 70? What? I don't want to do that. I want to retire when I'm young. I want to build something successful so I can retire when I'm young and I can just enjoy my life when I'm young. And why wait to start enjoying your life? Like, I'm going to travel now too. I'm going to do what I want now too, because right now is all we have. All we have is a present moment. This book, so good. Get your hands on it. Get your hands on it. So the last book I want to talk about is similar to the 4-Hour Work Week, but it's with a more spiritual twist. It's with an Ayurvedic twist. And that book is Discover Your Dharma by Sahara Rose. I'll put a picture of it right here. I listened to it on Audible, so I actually don't have a physical copy, but this book was so good. It came into my life when I really was starting to feel lost. I'm such a multi-passionate person, but I don't know what my purpose is and how I can combine all of my passions for my living, for my income. So if you don't know, the word dharma means your purpose, your life's purpose. So this book really helped me understand the different archetypes I am, like Ayurvedically and everything, and how those archetypes can be combined in different career paths. So for example, I'm a nurturer, a visionary, and an artist. I was able to listen to this book and find the connections between those three archetypes and start writing down and brainstorming just things that I can do that would feed all of these things that I'm good at. Like, how can I put my passions and what I'm good at into my career and into what I want to be doing with my life and how I make an income. And it just really helped me break down my strengths and how I can use them. And if you're someone who knows that you're destined for a lot, you're destined for something big, but you're having trouble putting your passions together and figuring out what that thing is and how you can achieve it, I definitely recommend listening or reading this book. It's so good. She just speaks with such eloquence and such beauty, and she is a mentor in herself, just with how she's achieved her business goals and business dreams and created something so unique for herself. But it is just such a true testament to the book, Discover Your Dharma. If you're multi-passionate, definitely read that book, definitely look into it. I just recommend her content in general. She has an amazing podcast, but that book was just, it just came to my life at the perfect time, and it really helped me understand who I am, what I'm good at, and what I can do with it. So I definitely recommend that book. Here it is again. All these books will be linked below. So that's the end of the 4 books that changed the trajectory of my life, but I just wanted to mention that literally every self-help or self-development book that I've read has changed the trajectory of my life in some way. Like, there's been little nuggets that I take with me, but these 4 really stand out to me because they came to me at pivotal points in my life, and I really want to share them with you because I know they could help somebody out there. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you liked this video, if you like the style of video. I have plenty more books to share with you. Let me know what you want to see next. What kind of content have you been enjoying from me? Find me on my other platforms linked below, and I hope you have a beautiful week. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful life. You deserve it. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.